Okay, we've got some news around injuries for the Brighton game. Declan Rice, Calafiori and Bukayo Saka all good to play. William Saliba and Gabriel Martinelli not fit to play. I'm going to apologise in advance. This is very much headline news. We'll talk about what that means for the potential 11. In terms of the extent of their injuries, we know that Rice, Saliba all came off. We know that Calafiori came off too. They all came off against Palace. Bukayo Saka is fit and ready to go, and there's good news on his contract. So we're going to discuss all those things in this video. The Saka contract news actually started to emerge around 3-4 hours ago, but I actually wanted to wait. It was Sammy Mockbell who brought that. I actually wanted to wait to see what the team news was and then do a video sort of all together. So basically what we understand is, like I said, on the injury front, Saliba, Rice, Calafiori all came off. Saliba at half-time for Mascara against Palace. Rice came off with what seemed like a knock. Calafiori too. With the injury problems that Calafiori's had over the years, you always worry a little bit when he starts to go down. But he's good to play, confirmed by Mikel Arteta. With Saliba and Martinelli out, that makes it really, really interesting. And I think with these bits of injury news, it does look like we're going to have to see some first teamers getting minutes. By first team, I mean guys who have been in the starting level. We know the squad is great, but it just means we're probably going to have to go a little bit stronger than maybe some fans would want. Listen, I want us to go a little bit of a mix in the team, but, you know, a lot of people are calling for complete and utter change. I was just on TalkSport with Perry Groves. Go look for that on Inside Gooners on TalkSport. And he said he wants wholesale changes, and I think these injuries might force us not to do that. I think if we're looking at the potential 11 then, I think Kepa will obviously come in. I think if you're building a back four, you expect White to be there with Mascara. Calafiori's fit to play, but whether they risk him is another question. I think with Gabriel having had the hamstring surgery a while back, Lewis Skelly and Capie needing minutes, I think it might be a completely rotated back four of White, Mascara, Nkapie and Lewis Skelly. Yes, Calafiori's fit, and that's kind of great to know. And I wondered whether he might get some minutes at centre-back just to keep some sort of regularity in the back four. But ultimately, it's still a change to a key position. And with Saliba out, I mean, you might have gone for an Nkapie and a Saliba or something like that. But if he's out, then Mascara's definitely going to play. It probably deserves to, because of all of them, he's had the most minutes. So then the midfield gets interesting, because Rice is fit. Great point raised on Inside Gooners that Zubimendi got the yellow card, didn't he? Against when the Champions League, which I think means he misses the next game, which is Slavia Prague, but he's going to be all right for Bayern Munich. So with that, knowing he doesn't play next week, do you give him a rest then? Well, you have to give him, he can't play that game. So do you give him a start in this game? It kind of makes a little bit of sense. But then you've got Norgard, who's a 6, who could come in. I have a feeling he's going to go Norgard and Zubimendi because of that yellow card. Yes, Marino's obviously available to come in. We'll talk about him in a sec. Yes, Declan Rice is fit to play, but he covers so much ground, does so much running. He's going to have to play some big minutes in the next 3 games, which are Burnley, Sunderland and Slavia Prague, all away from home. So I think he's going to go Norgard and Zubimendi as a double pivot. We're playing with a double pivot anyway. So I think that's what he's going to go with for this game, though we haven't seen it. Granted, in pre-season, we didn't see them together, nor at any other time. In the 10, I think he's going to go Eze, because he's been able to bring him off a few times. And I think he's going to go Waneri on the right, because I think Saka will want to rest. Dauman, I think he's probably too young to start this game, not quite ready enough, though he's a very talented player, and Madueke's not fit to play. Therefore, I think we'll go Trossard on the left. So Trossard, Eze and Waneri behind Gyökeres. No, sorry, not Gyökeres, behind Merino up front. I think he will go Mikel Merino up front to give Gyökeres a much-needed rest. I think there's every chance that it's actually Eze on the left, Merino in the 10, and then Trossard up front. Yeah, Eze on the left, Merino in the 10 and Trossard up front. I think it could easily be that as well. You could even do Waneri in the 10 in some way, shape or form, but that's probably what I think he'll go with now that we've got the injury news that's come through from Mikel Arteta. Now, credit to Sammy Mockbell of the BBC, who came and told us that, you know, Arsenal are really moving ahead with contracts. Timbers is very close to being agreed and announced. Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice are the ones they're working on next, but we know that the Saka one has been going on for a while. He described it as has made progress and that talks are advancing. Bukayo Saka will sign a new deal, and it's supposedly, again, reportedly, according to Sammy Mockbell, going to make him one of the highest paid players in the Arsenal squad, and rightly so. I think he'll be on, and I'm just guessing, I don't know the full numbers, I'm guessing he'll be on nearer 300 grand a week. or more, because he deserves that. Yeah. So I think what Havertz, Jesus, Rice, all them are on. So I think he'll be on 300 grand a week or more. And I think he will absolutely deserve that, 350. I think the highest contracts we've handed out at the club have been the 350s to Alexis, Ozil and Aubameyang. But correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And he, like I say, he absolutely deserves it. Ever present, been in the club a long, long time. One of, if not our best player, I think probably our best player. So I think naturally it's only right that he gets that deal. But what's really important is that Arsenal are tying down their best players that we had doubts over. Saka, Saliba, many others. One of them is signed in Saliba, others are close in Saka, Timber. But then you also said, Sammy Motbelt, that the next deal to work on is Declan Rice. Now that makes sense. We signed him in the summer of 2023. We're now in autumn of 2025. He's probably in his final 2 years of his deal. There might be a 5-year deal, but I think it's a 4-year deal, so he might be in the last 2 years. But he's become such an important player and ever present, one of the best midfielders in the world, who gives us one of the most consistent level of performances, but also one of the most consistent turnouts in big games and big occasions with big moments. This is a really, really important player. I think it's only right that Berto, who's making his way through the contracts, gets this one done next. Interestingly, no talk of Kai Havertz, as far as I'm aware, of Gabriel Martinelli. Trossard has signed a new deal, but without an extension on the length of the contract, only a pay rise. So it gives you an idea for who Arsenal and Arteta and Berta potentially see as the guys to keep, the guys that we need to absolutely lock in for the long term. I think players like Havertz, Jesus, Trossard, Martinelli, the kind of deals they're getting, minutes they're getting, and actually the fact that actually there's not a lot of talk around those players suggests that they may be open to doing some business on the selling front next summer. So that's worth keeping an eye on. The players we're really, really keen to keep a hold of, like Rice, like Timber, like Saka, they're all getting done in the background, while Saliba and Gabriel have signed deals very, very recently. I imagine Odegaard might be next too. So there you go. That's all the latest on injuries and on the contract front. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. A reminder of all the content. Loose Cannons came out yesterday on Turkish LDN's channel. That is the place that I'm talking about Arsenal post-match and pre-match in more detail, with obviously Turkish, Jordan and guests. We had Miles the other day, Sharky the day before. Go check that out here on the Goonerverse. Well, obviously this is Goonerverse News you're watching this on, but on the Goonerverse we've obviously got the podcast with Sharoy. That is out. A lot of detail around sustainability, around the efficiency that Arsenal are playing with, around our style of play, around why the media hate us, why people are hating on Arsenal despite being the most consistent team in the league and the most trusted team in the league to pick up results. Go watch all that on the Goonerverse. Hope you enjoy it. Another video out here in the streets of London. Hope you've enjoyed this update, and I'll catch you all very soon. Many thanks. Get subscribed to the Goonerverse and Goonerverse News.